dice que no está conectada ahorita.
Ay, Dios.
Es que sí, con la señora quiere ganas.
Ay, sí.
Bueno, para la entrevista de mañana, entonces, con los bichos que salgan, la haremos.
Solo son 4.
Que nos ayude la señora de que no sé, los motive o algo, ¿verdad? Para
Pero
hacer
Ya no
esto.
va a poder, Julio, porque la clase es después.
en la noche, después de la entrevista.
Ajá.
Entonces, no.
Los chicos no van a poder,
Solo 4.
solo cuatro.
Ya lo vio, ya lo vio.
Bueno,
Llámenlo. Espérate,
voy a
espérate.
volver a llamar entonces, ahorita. Y no olviden grabarlo, porque yo lo pausé. Hey, Miss. Thank you very much for accepting your invitation to this day. We are
Okay.
students of the pre-specialization in teaching methodology, and our
Okay.
topic investigation is teaching technique to influences to take English intermediate student to implement listening skills.
Okay.
And to continue, my classmate continue develop this interview.
Sorry. Good morning, Miss Flor.
Good
Uh,
morning.
my name is Gabriela Cruz, and in this occasion, I will be your interviewer. So, for this interview, the purpose is to collect more information about your ideas, your comments, and your experience you have teaching this subject that is auditive comprehension 1. So to start the interview will be I ask you the first question that is what type of educational resources do you use in the classroom?
Okay, I'm teaching listening one, and this is the first experience of the students to help the class specifically for listening. So the different strategies that I'm using are going to be based on attitudinal factors. They are going to be technical at the same time and also cognitive, right? So we have to make a difference between the different strategies. If I'm talking about the attitudinal strategies, I would like to say that one of them is to make the students feel very comfortable in the classroom, right? Create a very good environment. They can feel that if they express something, this is going to be respected by the teacher and by everyone in the classroom. So we have to remember that the attitudes, the positive attitudes, and the confidence is going to be one of the transcendental strategies to develop whatever skill, okay? Listening skill, speaking skill, reading, writing, whatever. So this is one of the strategies to have a very nice environment. My students feel confident talking and so on. Okay. If I'm talking about the technical ones, okay, it is necessary because my class is online. So, and I'm using, for example, the book. We have the book. What I do is that I paste the information from the book in a PowerPoint, and I insert the different audios to have a class. We follow the book because, so academically it is necessary to follow or to have strategies according to the syllabus. So that's why that I incorporate the audios according to the lessons that I have in the book, but not just the book. For example, this morning, my students had a video, 3-minute video. So the strategies when you start the classes, especially the receptive skills like listening, you have to be careful about the length of the activities you are presenting. I say this because you are not going to be permitting that your students get confused with too much information. So you have to include chunks. If the video is long, include chunks. and ask questions to the students, right? This is one of the strategies. The other one, excuse me, is to incorporate short videos and activities. For example, in this case, they were working with main ideas, inferences, and of course, before the activity, it is necessary to integrate, okay, and reinforce what an inference is, what main ideas are, what is going to be the objective of the activity. They excuse me, they were making an activity based on travels. It was about the Eiffel Tower, because the previous activity was about going places. So what you have to make is that, for example, all the activities that you present in that period are going to be like a cluster. So it means that activities that are going to be very similar, because when you concentrate vocabulary and listening based on similar situations, the blueprint that they are going to make in the brain is going to be much better. Okay, this is about the technology and talking about, for example, the cognitive. It is necessary to reinforce, for example, what is going to be the stress words. It is necessary to make the students to comprehend what is going to be the intonation of the WH questions, yes, no questions, the vocabulary they are going to be using. It is necessary to include corrections, for example, to correct the students in a very respectful way, for them not to feel threatened about what they have to say, and involve all the students asking questions. For example, I was telling about my travels around the world, and I was presenting some pictures, and they were asking me. They were very curious about my travels, my trips. And this is a way how to integrate these activities and make the students to have this interaction, because you are not going to spend all the time with listening, and listening. With listening is just one receptive skill, but you have to incorporate many skills at the same time. The students can be talking with the teacher, and at the same time they are listening. They open the possibilities to have a very good reception about listening skills. These are the techniques I normally use in my classes.
Okay, me, thank you. The next question is, what techniques do you think students need to apply to improve their listening skills?
Okay, we have to be careful in this question, because it is necessary to know which skills they are able to develop according to the level. So you are not going to incorporate all the techniques at the same time. Okay, for example, okay, when you start with the activities, so you have to introduce listening, taking general ideas about the topic. So the strategies that you have to incorporate, like, for example, getting general ideas, for example, previewing what the listening is going to be about, presenting pictures, incorporating into the brain, for example, what is going to be the topic about. Because if you start with the listening and the students didn't have the incorporation of the previous topic in the brain, so this is going to be crashing inside the brain. So that's why all the strategies, for example, inferences, getting main ideas, for example, previewing what is going to happen, listening for details, listening for a specific digest, listening for whatever kind of a strategy you incorporate, you have to know how to do it, because it is a process in the ear, inside, that the auditory system is going to be sending the information inside the brain, and this is going to be caught by the neurons and transformed in visualizations, that when they are listening, they are going to be thinking and creating visualizations about what they do. So that's why Everything is going to be according to the age of the students and according to the English level and according to the purposes that you have in the class. Okay.
Okay, Miss. Thank you. The next question is, in your opinion, what teaching method do you consider more effective to improve a student's listening skills?
It is going to be communicative, okay? Because we have to remember that listening is the first skill. You know, when the babies start, for example, in Spanish, when the mommy is teaching, okay, the first words, so the baby is getting the information. So the repetition is going to be very important, and this is going to be through the communication. So it is like, for example, it is important that in a moment you realize what do you want, what is your objective as a teacher, right? So and this is going to be helping you to know or to be more accurate as a teacher about the different strategies and the different methodologies. To be specific, there is not one methodology. It is a combination of different strategies. This is eclectic. We don't have one specific methodology to say, okay, this is going to be the way. What I do is that remember that methodology are steps. It is the order in which you teach strategies. What I do, for example, as methodology in my classes first, this is what I was saying before. I talk with my students about what the topic is going to be to incorporate the ideas. Possibly, we are going to watch briefly what is going to be the video. And then we are going to say, what did you see in the video? Because visualization is very important for them to catch the information through the auditory system. So you have to plan your classes using all more than a methodology. This is going to be a combination of good sources and including communicative ones, because if you are not listening to English, your pronunciation is not going to be good. This is like for example, this example about the sordomudos, that's a pejorative word, of course, but to tell you. So, ellos no son mudos, ellos son sordos, pero no hay sonidos que entren a su cerebro, por lo tanto no pueden pronunciar, no es que no puedan hablar. So, this is going to be a mechanism that is going to be very similar to listening. If you are not listening to English as the first skill, so your pronunciation is not going to be good. You're not going to have vocabulary to express because you are not getting into the brain information that is going to be meaningful for them. Your intonation is not going to be good. If you're not listening, your fluency is not going to improve. So my methodology is going to be related to the order, the sequence in the presentation of the different activities with good sources, and at the same time mixing of different activities for them, and also make my students autonomous, because 90 minutes is not going to be enough to develop listening. I convince them about the necessity to be autonomous every day, 2 hours every day, exposing to listening. This is the clue.
Okay, the next question is related about what you said before. For you, how many per day do students need to dedicate to practicing their listening skills and how they can practice it?
You can practice um, with not necessarily with a book. You can practice with the activities that you like. You enjoy watching videos in Netflix, and with possibly with the transcript. You can use the transcription, yes, but in English, not in Spanish, right? And listening, watching videos, listening to music, the music you like, audiobooks, okay, reading and having at the same time the audio about this one. I consider that 2 hours every day, every day with active listening, not whatever kind of listening, active listening, taking notes, repeating, just creating this in fundamentals in the brain is going to be a good initiation to have a very good English development, because we have zero immersion to the language in El Salvador. You finish your classes and you continue thinking in Spanish, talking in Spanish, talking with your friends in Spanish. Even you, okay, undergraduate students, you speak Spanish among you. And where and how? You need to be autonomous and very conscious about what kind of English you want. And this is, I consider, the best time decision and methodology the student is going to be taking, because 90 minutes per class is not enough. Not enough. If the student is not conscious, this is not going to work. And the consequences are in the TOEFL. TOEFL, that's the consequence. And you really know how much English you know, right? That's the moment that, okay, it is going to be shaking you to know, okay, this is my reality. And to avoid situations that are going to be so stressful, okay, I recommend my students to start from second year, that those are the students I have. Okay, listening actively. Okay, 2 hours minimum per day. Mhm, every day.
Okay. How do you help students to improve their listening in the classroom?
I can asking them questions, making questions, activities, incorporating nice, for example, songs in the morning, singing together, asking them about meaning, okay, interacting with them, trying to communicate with my students all the time, and creating this nice environment that is permitting them to talk and they know nobody laugh at them or is going to laugh at them, and I'm going to be correcting them, okay, for improving. So having all the kind of situations that I was saying before. Okay, and this is having a good environment, a good relation with them, that they feel that they have my support, that what they feel that what they express is going to be important to me, listening to them, paying attention, okay, and cheering them when they do things very good. This is what we have to do for our students to increase their capacities from my side. The other is going to be theirs.
Okay. Which technique do you consider is most necessary for students to use in auditive comprehension one class?
One of the techniques is, for example, that I think is really good is listening for details, permitting them to repeat the listening and to get what is the for example, the correct answer. Another technique that I use so much is that I decode all. For example, if we have a conversation, they listen to the conversation and I start asking them, and what did she say? What do you think this was the question? Okay, why was she asking this and this? What do you think? What do you did you listen about this? Tell me. Okay, what is your opinion? So trying to not just have the conversation by itself, if not comprehending, including the intonation, because this is about inferring, right? So they have to comprehend. Okay, it depends on the level. That's going to be the best strategy. We cannot talk about a best strategy. We can talk about good strategies, mixing good strategies for our students to get a better listening skill.
Okay. In your experience you have teaching this subject, what are the students' weaknesses in auditive comprehension one class?
Lack of autonomy, and they are afraid of speaking. Those are attitudinal situations, barriers, cultural barriers, prejudices, um, is low self-esteem. Okay, because when you are confident, so who doesn't care if you make errors or not? It's so I don't care. So I'm learning. So what? But this is not the attitude they have. They feel diminished when the teacher is correcting something or when the teacher is asking. The students are in complete silence behind the computer. So they are hidden behind the computer. So these situations are affecting, but that's attitudinal. That's something that is related to behavioral situations, possibly going back to the childhood, right? So this is affecting so much, okay? A veces en la familia, inclusive las madres que dicen, cállese, no hable. Yo voy a decir, yo soy la que tengo que hablar. Usted no puede decir nada. Cállese, malcriado. So this is affecting so much because we are not permitting the children to express, and this is affecting during the adulthood. When you want to express, you feel like in that moment ashamed about what you want to say. You are afraid that the teacher is going to be saying something that you didn't expect about. So the fears I consider are the barriers affecting the students, and they are not conscious about what they want. They don't have clear objectives about, I want to learn a very good English, and this is my opportunity. I'm going to be talking with the teacher in spite of my errors. I'm going to be saying and answering this. But this is a situation, so attitudinal factors, cultural factors are affecting so much this process, whatever process, not just listening, whatever.
Okay, Miss. And the last question. What is the principal role of the student in Auditive Comprehension 1 class?
To improve themselves, to be clear about what they want, to be aware about the consequences they are going to have in the future if they are not improving listening. If you are not listening well, your communication is going to be frustrated. You can speak. Oh, my pronunciation is very good. My speaking is so nice. Yeah, but that's your speaking. But that's not communication. What happens when you have this communication and you cannot understand the others, or others are not going to understand you? The communication is not going to be in that moment. So I think that it is important. The role of the teacher is important to guide the students, but even more the attitude of the students, the autonomy of the student to know what they need, what they want, what is the objective. So it is frustrating to know that, okay, the students are finishing the career with a lot of different mistakes and errors in listening, affecting so much. So, and the frustration is in the moment they get the TOEFL examination and they know they didn't reach the level, the necessary level to graduate. This is the most difficulty situation. So that's why I consider that the students must be conscious since the beginning of the career, okay, about this career represents in my life, in my professional life, and what I have to do to improve my English. This is the situation.
Okay, Miss. That is all for the interview. We
Okay.
appreciate your help sharing the information, the ideas, or comments you have teaching the Auditive Comprehension 1 class. And thank you so much. Have a nice
Okay. Thank you so much, Gabrielita. My best wishes for you and your process, Julio. I remember you. My appreciation for you, Maria Fernanda, Catherine, and Lily. So my best wishes for you. Okay. Have a
Thank
good
you,
time.
Miss. Thank you,
Thank you,
Miss.
Okay.
Miss.
It's
Thank
a
you,
Good
pleasure.
Miss.
day.
Thank
Good
you.
day for you.
Have a good day.
Thank
Have
you
a
so
good day,
much.
Miss.
Thank you.